From The Breakfast Club to Ryan Garcia, even Krishan Rock, everyone has been talking about Claressa Shields this week. So let's talk about it. They 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 talk about it. Welcome back to She Could Talk the Podcast. I'm your host, Gangali. Hey, and that's Gangalee on all streaming platforms. If you want to check out my music, look for the red glasses, look for the locks. You tell me if I can rock, okay? Okay. But over here on YouTube, on She Could Talk the Podcast, this is where I react to everything. I react to news, sports, crimes, musicians, politicians, YouTubers, TikTokers. If they're talking about it, I'm talking about it. Okay? Okay. So as you can see, this has been a busy week for our girl, Claressa Shields. Nonstop. I know that she went to the Breakfast Club. Well, yeah, let's go back a bit. They had their press conference. I still want to follow up with that because I wanted to do some comparison and some contrast between the press conferences because overall, I want to shout out all of the girlies in boxing. This past week here was a very lit week for women's boxing. So I will be doing a little montage and I will be going through the rest of that on a different video. So more to come. Stay tuned. But of course, you know me, I like to take it piece by piece. Plus, I've been getting a lot of emails, a lot of suggestions for videos, a lot of content for videos. So let me give you all an e-kiss out there. Shout out to my talkers that, keep talking, sending me the stuff because, we're in this together. So I wanted to kind of throw a little bit of that in here too. Some things that I've gotten over the week, in regards to Claressa. So for starters, what I wanted to do was kind of give a little reaction to the Breakfast Club. And I took some notes because the way the Breakfast Club is set up, you can't just straight up react to their videos. Just like I don't know if you've seen my video when I was reacting to her on the Sherry Shepherd show. Well, honey, Sherry Shepherd was like, not on my watch. So I had to edit it out, right? So, and it's fine, what I'm saying? It wasn't no copyright strike. It wasn't no penalties because YouTube, I love you. So before you even hit the air, I had to go in there and make some adjustments. And I kind of put that in the description. Plus, I linked the video that I was reacting to so that way you can kind of see, what I was talking about. But I didn't really want to do that with this one. So I said, okay, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. So I was trying to get this to you guys as soon as possible. But I wanted to make sure I was doing it right because I wanted to make sure I was within guidelines. Okay. And shout out to the Breakfast Club. I ain't stepping on my toes. I like y'all too. So good, shout out to y'all. So anyway, what I wanted to do though was kind of get like, pictures, etc., and react to, the dialogue that they were having during these segments, if that makes any sense, right? By now, we all have seen the Breakfast Club interview. It went viral with Claressa and Papoose. Now, they sold it or advertised it, I should say, as it was an interview with Papoose discussing his new album, Bars on Wheels, right? So I was looking forward to seeing, hearing his, saving hip hop concept, if you will, and trying to see like how his album came about because up here, even though right now I've really been on the sports side of the house, I'm a musician and a lot of my stuff is on the music side of the house. I be all over the place. That's why my intro tells you what I do. I talk about it all. But music is my thing, is my passion. So I'm gonna respect the artist always, and like I want to hear what they're saying because as a fellow artist, that interests me as well. So I tuned in to see this scene right here. Her sitting on the sofa with her like feet up, I guess. I don't know if that's a table back there, but super comfortable, almost gangster, in my opinion, if you will. And I broke my ankle to get to the comments immediately. And when I got to the comments, first comment, I said, the cameraman keeping Claressa in frame is sending me. First comment up there on this channel, on their channel, on this video. And I was like, yeah, it's sending me too because he captured every moment. It's almost like they strategically did this. Well, we know they strategically did this on purpose to catch every framework, every expression, every emotion from her while they, simultaneously asked Papoose about Remy Ma. My opinion, guys. So we seen her, him explaining away a couple of things because, like I said, I got notes. The first thing when they asked him about like what happened or whatever, to me, I think that it was very telling that he went all the way back to when Remy Ma was in jail. So, okay, she's been in jail for 8 years. She has come out since then. She's been out of jail longer than she did her time, if you will. Yeah, because Love and Hip Hop and all that stuff is over 10 years old. So she did her time. She came home, rebranded herself, married you, had children, and was living a different life, right? So I thought that was interesting when asked about, what happened or what caused this rift between him and his wife. Like, where was the breakdown, if you will? That he goes back to, see, I did nothing. I've always been. Remember, they filmed me going to jail to pick her up. I'm a good guy. I didn't do nothing. And to me, I think that's very telling. I feel like he wants to keep his good guy persona going. It's just like with Claressa. She always reverts back to, I'm a two-time gold medalist, right? He wants to keep that shining image of them going. But I feel like it's something else going on. Does that make any sense? I feel like we're not seeing the whole onion, if that makes any sense. There's a couple of layers we need to peel back. So that was a that's immediately had my spidey senses tingling when he said, "Oh, look at me, guys! I'm a good guy. I went to jail. I was visiting her in jail every day. I brought her groceries." That was 20 years ago, bro. That was in the beginning, in the very beginning. Now, the way my mind works. I said, okay, one or two things. Were you holding that over her head for the last 20 years? Like, I was with you when no one was there. I came to jail every day because that's a form of mental abuse. I'm the one that did this when no one else did it. Form of mental abuse. You got to do it for me because I was there for you. Tit for tat type of thing. And the fact that he jumped over 20 years. He jumped over last year. He jumped over the last 5 years. He jumped over the last 7 years because his daughter is 7. And he went back to when she was incarcerated. That was telling for me. And we still didn't get an answer. Did you cheat? Did you not cheat? Still didn't get an answer. But I'm using the pictures to kind of do my points of reaction because, I don't want any copyright strikes. So there we go. So that was the first one. And you saw she was sitting there. Then Envy made a point of saying, he kind of asked him about it because Envy and all of them, they're from the same era. They're all the same age or in the same age group, if you will. They all been married with their significant others for decades. They all have children, multiple children, and they all had infidelity at points in life. Fun fact, if you guys don't know, I'm a New Yorker. It was a big thing when Envy had his infidelity, situation play out on public radio. His wife, Erica Mena, do you guys remember? Yeah, Safari's baby mother. Do you remember? But we'll leave that there. I don't want to dig up old dirt. But I feel like the energy that I was getting from Envy was like, yo, bro, we wanted you to fix it. Like, I fixed mines. I had a debacle. I played in my wife's face publicly on radio. And I was able to fix it and I'm the family man I am today. I have a beautiful wife, beautiful kids, and we were able to move past that because that's what you do in marriage. I don't know. That's the vibe I got from Envy, the way he was talking to him. Because they were all close. They're all family. I was like, I wonder if Envy's youngest daughters and youngest kids went to Remy Ma and Papoose's daughter's birthday party. I mean, they all kind of live near each other, Jersey. And, the younger kids, they're kind of close in age with her. I can see him bringing them to the birthday party, my opinion. But nonetheless, that's the vibe I got from Envy when he was talking to Papoose. Every time, and that's another thing I noticed, every time they were talking, Lauren LaRosa, which I have to give Lauren LaRosa a round of applause because she did a great job sticking to the journalist in her, like bringing out the journalist in her. I always, from the very first day I saw up there, filling in for Just Hilarious, I was like, I like this girl. I like her. I know she came from TMZ. She definitely was in her TMZ bag. Now, a lot of people was like, oh, come on now, give it a rest. Lauren shouldn't have asked those questions. I think she asked some really good questions, but it was one question that was missing. Are you divorced? Is the divorce finalized? When? Will the divorce be finalized? Or are you close? If you can't even give us details out of respect for the other party, I get it. But are you guys close? Like, let's clear that up because that's the biggest talk about you two on the internet. So I think that was one question I was missed. But other than that, she did a great job getting to the hard questions. And I will say kudos to Envy too, because Envy followed up, and voiced how he felt as a friend. Because he's like, I know you, bro. So when Envy said we wanted, y'all to fix it, I caught what he said. But then he also, out of respect for Claressa, he cleaned it up and said, become friends, co-parenting, which they are co-parenting, right? Because I guess he was able to go to the birthday party. She didn't block him from going, which, I think that's good. And you saw that he went to the Lion King play with his daughter early in the week of her birthday week. So, co-parenting looks like it's healthy and it's in effect. But I don't think that's what Envy was talking about. I think he was talking about fix that marriage. Come on, guys. We love you together. I get it. And we're friends. We know y'all together. We hang out. You know what I'm saying? Brought our families together. That was the vibe I got from Envy. Do I know if it's true or not? No, I don't know. But I could imagine, and that's the vibe I got from him. But then she was like, it takes time. Look at his face right here. When she was like, it takes time. It takes time. Have you ever been married? Have you ever been divorced? Now I'm going to tell you like this. Yes, a divorce can take time. The actual process of a divorce, depending on what you're splitting up, your assets, finances, depending on your particular situation and, children, like depending on what's involved, it can take time, yes. But you know what is the biggest time taker in a divorce, if that even makes sense, if you will? The biggest thing to take up time in a divorce is the emotional healing. Okay? I've seen it where people separated for 6 years and it's like, well, dude, divorce her already. And then guess what? On that seventh year, they got back together. I've seen people divorce, completely divorce, like fast track, divorced, expedited the divorce, only to get married, remarried in the next 2 years. So the biggest, you know, occupant of time in a process like a divorce is not really the legal work, the paperwork, the filing of it, all of that stuff. All of that stuff, if you go from A to Z, it can be streamlined and expedited in a timely manner. It's the emotional attachment that takes time, the emotional healing that takes time. And I've noticed, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth. I just react. But I noticed that when she says certain things, because she even, if you watch this interview, if you will, you can see where Papoose said things and then she repeated it like right after, like something he was like, you can't put that jacket on me. And then a couple of, sentences later, she was like, yeah, you can't put that jacket on someone. And so I was like, I felt like that. I felt like whatever he says to her is what she repeats. Like when he was like, what else, how did Papoose or Win Records and Salida Promotions come together for the $8 million deal? And she was like, oh, why did you pick them for the deal? And she was like, oh, because they came together. And you're like, well, what else happened? So when she said to Envy, it takes time, it's a divorce. The vibe I got was that's what he's saying to her. That's what Papoose is saying to her. Like, she's probably like, why you ain't divorcing her already? Why you not getting this divorce? Why you keep on going back to Jersey? Blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you, honey, even after divorce, he's going to have to go back to Jersey. He has a child under 10, technically a child under 18. If she goes to college, that's 21. But they got a couple of years left because they have a child. But anyway, she was like, oh, it takes time. I instantly, my spidey senses went up. I said, that's what he says to her. That's what he has been saying to her, to drag his feet on the divorce. So the next picture, when she was like, we're happy. We're happy. He's happy. She's happy. She got somebody. It is not your place. Like, for example, and I'm going to use someone else who kind of had like a public new romance in the midst of a wild breakup. Megan Good and Jonathan Majors. So, he was with the English girl, right? The white girl from England that accused Jonathan Majors of assaulting her, right? And then there was always a story of when they were in the car, he was texting back and forth. And this is all allegedly, guys. So you, if you know deeper than me out there, I'm open to course correction. But the way I understood the story was they were in the car and and he was texting someone and flirting and smiling. And she knew it was a girl or a woman. And she said, "Who are you talking to?" and grabbed his phone. And when she realized who it was, she started getting hostile with him. His ex girlfriend, the English girl, and Jonathan Majors. And then that's when everything spilled out into the street because he got out the car and then he ran because she said he was flirting back and forth on the phone with someone. And she said that someone was an actress. Do y'all remember that? So now fast forward to the trial. Around his trial time, randomly out the blue, we seen Megan Good with him. After a lot of people was giving him, after he was getting a lot of backlash, right? People was like, "Oh, well, that's what you get for messing with, his preference at the time, his girlfriend. That's what you get for messing with her because now you're going to jail. And that's what you get for hitting her and being violent." And then other people like, "Oh, Jonathan Majors is a violent guy." It was like a lot of stuff, swirling around him, a lot of backlash, right? People were dropping him from endorsements, dropping him from movies. He had a rough couple of years after that. But who popped up in the courtroom with him? Megan Good. People was like, "What are you doing with this guy? Get away from him. Oh, you messing up. You playing yourself. What is she doing with him?" One thing that I will say, Megan Good never did was get up on like an interview or even on a social media platform and directly address her relationship with Jonathan Majors during those times. Action, they say action speaks louder than words, right? You saw her in the courtroom. You saw her well dressed, looking nice, holding his hand. He looked like he came from 1923 sometimes in them outfits, but she was right there with him in the courtroom. When he celebrated and got his vindication, she was there with him. When it was her award shows, he was there with her. And she never really directly addressed, you know, her support of, why she chose to support him, how they even ended up together during that time. She could have been the catalyst of the whole court case. Who knows? Some people, depending on what circles you in, some people say she was, right? She was the one on the text message. But all of that to say is she could have possibly made the situation worse by saying, "Oh, he loves me. He just wanted me, and that girl is just jealous because he's with me, and that's why she got mad, and that's why she's trying to press charges on him." And that would have probably made his situation worse. Do you see where I'm going with this? But she was a silent, pretty support system for Jonathan Majors, which is now his wife. They're now married. And all the talk died down. It went from ill, she got with that ugly dude, Megan Good playing herself, oh, he's a woman beater, to now, you know what? They actually look cute together. Megan, she's going to defend her man. Go ahead, Megan. I know that's right. And it went to praises because they went through the trenches. They got the backlash, but they addressed it differently. Even Jonathan Majors, remember he had his recordings that came out like, "I want you to be like Coretta Scott King," and they were going crazy. Megan Good did not speak out at any point in time. And if she did, guys, bring me the receipts. Not anywhere that I seen. And that's what I'm saying. You could literally be his support system. Claressa could be Papoose's support system and be that silent. She could be sitting there. She could have been sitting in the back because, in my opinion, if this interview was truly about bars on wheels and not about the messiness, she shouldn't have been there in the first place, in my opinion. It should have been him and the guy in the back who was the producer. The guy in the back who you can't even see his face right now, but I'm going to put my mouse over him. Where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? Because I'd be all over the place. I put my mouse right here. Boom. You see my mouse? This is Papoose's producer. This guy produced the entire album. And I'm going to tell you like this. As an artist, you know what I'm saying, as a producer, I don't care if you're rapping. I don't care if you make the beat. I don't care if you put the cuts on the song. I don't care if you're the girl singing the hook, right? It's elements. It's work. that we put into that. And it's our blood, sweat, and tears. You want to get that recognition for that. I felt like he was treated super unfairly as a producer because this time was not maximized to promote the album. Instead, it was maximized to prove that she won. She won. She has Papoose. They're happy. They're in love. Also, simultaneously, because of the mess, it was Breakfast Club's opportunity to dive deep, head first into the mess. I'm going to get you up here under the guise of promoting your album, but I'm going to ask you some hard questions about the mess that's going on online that we're seeing daily. But I thought, I just wanted to say to Win Records and to this producer, I don't even know his name because they said it real quick at the end. He had to bring him in real, real quick. I think that was unfair because he has really dope beats. But this was when she was happy. Oh, so this part right here, I'm gonna pause it. They say a picture tells 1,000 words, right? So this part right here was the Shadeja Green when she said, when you look up Shadeja Green, you're gonna see that she's suspended indefinitely. You can tell when she does not, when she despises someone. She can't even control it emotionally. So, interestingly enough, I've been, learning a lot and speaking with a lot of boxing enthusiasts on the back end because of me covering Claressa Shields. And I was talking about Amanda Serrano a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, yo, she's fighting in January. I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of which, I'm coming back with a few videos because, like I said, the girlies in boxing had a great week. Shout out to the girlies, the women of boxing. And I'm going to be doing some more videos, dropping them too for that. But I was mentioning Amanda Serrano, and I was just like, oh, yeah, I wanted to see, like, her stats real quick. And I went and I pulled up her stats, and it said suspended indefinitely. And so I said to the boxing enthusiast that I was talking to, I said, well, how is that possible? She has a fight in January. And they explained to me, they was like, no, it's not like that. So the way it was explained to me, and if this isn't correct, guys, correct me. Because like I said, I'm open for course correction and I don't know everything. I'm learning. And this is interesting to me and I'm enthusiastic about this. I love the sport of boxing, but now to go deeper as I am, I love it even more. You know? But correct me if I'm wrong. If you just recently had a fight and, even if you won the fight, but like let's say you threw your shoulder out, torn ligament. Let's say you busted the eardrum. Let's say your eye swole up. And you won the fight though. And your opponent is in worse shape than you though because they lost and they're even more damaged. Both of you can be suspended indefinitely. Now, why? Because no one really knows how long it takes to heal, right? We know that the whole goal that you should be working on while you're suspended is reconditioning, treatment, training, healing. So when they say suspended indefinitely, then 9 times out of 10, if there's no talk around it or any announcements made about it, it's really just either A, you recently had a fight and you're healing, or some instances they said you could be training for a fight and they don't want you taking any last minute fights or, doing anything. So they'll suspend you until your fight comes up. Is that right, guys? Correct me if I'm wrong. Now, if you are found using performance enhancement, PEDs, or if you do something to cause a suspension, or I think it's suspension with cause. I don't know. So basically, if you do something and they prove that you're disqualified, they prove that, hey, you've broken whatever policy or violation, code, then they'll suspend you indefinitely. But with that type of suspension, you're going to see some type of press with it. You're going to be like, oh, so and so tested positive for marijuana. They're suspended indefinitely. And you would hear it. So, like me being surprised the other day when I saw Amanda Serrano was suspended indefinitely, and I was like, well, why? How is that even possible? And she has a fight in January. And they had to explain this to me. No, it could be one or two things. Either she recently had a fight or she's training for a fight, and they'll kind of put them on hold so that way they don't take any last minute fights. I said, oh, okay. Well, that kind of makes sense. It looks weird on paper, but that kind of makes sense. They say, yeah, but if they announce it, it's a penalty. If they say, oh, Claressa Shields tested positive for drugs, she's suspended indefinitely. It's a cause there. So they're announcing it. So you know it's a penalty. It's a different type of suspension. Right? So when she, and the reason why I'm going deep like that is because when she was over here making this face, shining that Shadeja Green was suspended, she also had to tell her or tell them because they're like, why is she suspended? Like, what did she do? Because instantly you're going to think something bad. Just like in school, you got suspended at school because you did something bad, right? So instantly you think suspension, what did she do? And then she couldn't say she did anything because she didn't do anything. She apparently had like maybe a busted eardrum, eardrum, and her nose. Maybe her nose was broken, maybe, injuries. They're fighters. You could win and still walk away with an injury. You see what I'm saying? And then to heal, they'll suspend you indefinitely because you can't put a time limit on healing. And that's how it was explained to me. So that's how I wanted to explain it to y'all. And if there's someone out there that knows a little bit differently or can elaborate, join me in the comments. You know how I feel about that. I'm going to give all my talkers out there a e-kiss. You know I love you guys. But we're going to continue. So this part, I was like really whacked because she gets mad about people putting her business out there, right? No one and in a weird way, I knew that she was Shadeja Green was suspended as well because I was kind of looking through all of them after a while. So there's a few of them, but it's not for what you think. It's not a penalty. It's not like she did something bad. It's like either they, healing from a fight, or in some instances prepping for a fight. So there you go. Some instances it is with cause, and with cause you'll see it because it'll be like drugs or whatever. They violated this, and then you'll see that as well. So if it just says suspended indefinitely, it could be a healing process or a training process. So for her to try to like spin it like it was bad or spin it like, Shadeja Green did something off-putting that or unprofessional, I didn't like that because you don't like when people do that to you. So I thought that gets a from me. But anyway, so and that face. This face when she was like, "You're gonna see that Shadeja Green is suspended indefinitely." It looked like a wicked witch for real. Like it looked like an evil spirit. And I've looked at pictures of Claressa before and videos of her even up until last year. And she had a light in her eye. She had an innocence in her eye. Since then, it has been replaced with a little bit of darkness. So I feel like something happened. There's a spiritual overtaking has taken place, in my opinion. And when that happens, I feel like prayer is needed. You gotta get right with yourself and get right with your God. I don't know. I'm not that type of person to be like, oh, preaching and telling you what you need to do. But it's a lot of type of warfares going on out here. Mental warfares, spiritual warfares, physical, financial. There's a lot of warfares going on. And it also reminds me of when she was on Wallow and Gilly's show. And she was like, oh, so pretty. Layla Ali, oh, so pretty. Remember? It's like that same spirit. It just is in her and it can't hold back anymore. It bubbles to the surface. Also, when they asked her about Remy Ma, and is her and Remy Ma, could she see them being cordial, or are they cordial to each other? And Papoose was like, I'm always cordial. In other words, I'm always welcome. That's my house too. Like I'm always gonna be welcome there. But she can't come. She already knows she can't come. She looked straight ahead. You saw it on her face because you know what you did. You know what you did. You're trying to always put the dirt on. And that's another thing. When someone always is trying to point out the other person's dirt, Both of them. I'm not just gonna put this one on Claressa. I'm gonna put this on Papoose too. When they are so busy trying to point out Remy's dirt and just glaze over theirs like they're so innocent, it lets you know there's more to the recipe. It's more in that pot stirring, more in the pot stewing. But when she said, when they asked about Remy, you saw that face come out too. She talked about Shadeja Green, and she said it's suspended indefinitely, like she wanted us to know that she was suspended. Girl, she's healing. It's different. It's not a violation. She didn't do anything messed up. And then when she said we've been together a year and a half, and next year, next September will be 2 years. So which is it? Is it a year and a half that you've been together from this September 2025, or is it a year and a half that Remy knew about you, and then next year you and Papoose would officially be 2 years together? I'm trying to figure it out because these new people and their math and their comprehension, I be trying to figure it out. But the math wasn't mathing on that one to me. It was not mathing at all. But let's continue. Her back there. Look at that. So this was kind of in the back. This is when he was like, this is when they asked him, "Are you guys cordial?" Well, he really asks Envy. Envy really asks Claressa, "Is her and Remy cordial to each other?" Thinking like, well, if he's gonna go see his kid, and you say y'all together every day and all the time, we're assuming that you're going with him to see the kid. You know that's not happening. And she looked straight away, she started blinking fast, and then look at his face. He was like, "I'm always cordial, like I'm good in any hood." And she looked at him like, "I can't come there." And another thing I wanted to say, I did a couple episodes about three different dynamics of people, like a husband and a wife, or a longtime girlfriend and a boyfriend, and then a third girl that wanted to interject or successfully interjected the relationship, right? And it was like my little mini destiny swapping series that I did. And I did one on Akira, Tim, and Brene. I did one on Jaden, Krishan, Rock, and Blueface. And I did one on Remy, Claressa, and Papoose. All about destiny swapping. And in all three of my episodes, I said, be careful when wanting to covet someone else's life, because you might just see what you like, the shininess, the newness, the TV of it all, right? But you don't know what else goes on behind closed doors. Like, for example, Remy said it was volatile at times. It was abusive mentally, physically, financially. But she put on a good face as a good wife. Jaden said she dealt with a lot of infidelities from Blueface. She had to fight girls over cheating and all this other stuff. But when they dressed up nice and they was at the award shows, they were a cute couple. Tim and Akira, they were college sweethearts. They were a football player, cheerleader. They had all, got married, had the kids, the home. She comes from a family of lawyers. So he married into a really strong family who took him in because she's an only child, took him in as the only son, bought him whatever he wanted. They were living a great life. But he was cheating, and he had very grimy ways that his wife had to deal with. So you just saw the niceness and the newness and the shininess. Now they swapped. Now Brene has Tim. Do you see them, how much weight they've gained? How unhappy they look? And now they owe Akira $1.7 million when Brene had millions. She was the millionaire. And Tim and Akira were financially struggling. They destiny swapped. Now Tim and Brene struggling. Akira's not. What's the girl name? Jaden and Krishan Rock. We already know. They was calling Jaden Stewie. How he's, Blueface needs to be with Krishan Rock. They're a cute couple. Blueface is not nothing to write home about these days. Have you seen him? I don't like the tattoos. Have you seen him? He's not nothing to write home about. Krishan, she, depending on what she's doing from day to day, but she's still Krishan Rock. Okay, where's the baby? Okay. And then it didn't swap well. It didn't end up good for that swap. And then now let's look at these two. She wanted to be Remy, a 45, 46-year-old woman, right? She wanted to get her husband, a 47-year-old man. She wanted to have children, 30-year-old children just like her, right? Or stepchildren, I should say. She wanted to be Remy. In my opinion, and I'm not being mean, because a destiny swapper, you take it all. You take the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the ugly. Now she's looking like closer to 50 in the face. And Remy looks amazing. Remy looks like a 28-year-old mom. Remy looks every bit of 29 in her matching cute outfits. I'm going to react to that too. I know I'm late. I know it was last week, but I'm going to react to it too because I got a little commentary about that. But destiny swapping is real because low key, Papoose looks younger than her. Like she doesn't look younger than Papoose. You see what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with that? I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like, be careful of what you want. Because now here we are. You look 48. But this is when he was like, oh, I'm cordial. So this part right here. The guy comes up 2 miles, or Sean 2 miles, 2 miles. That's his name, the producer. So he's like, real quick, bring him up. So, he could, shout out to him. He produced the album, real hip hop and producer. We here, boom, boom, boom. I feel like he should have been sitting in the seat. Claressa, if you want to be there, she should have been in the back, and it should have been 100% interview about the music, my opinion. But instead, we had the shenanigans and the mess. And this part right here, when it was like, she was like, we got our chain because everybody, like her whole goal is to prove everybody wrong and to shine on people. So we all got our chains. He's just along for the, I don't know what him and Papoose might talk about afterwards. Because you notice how he looked at Papoose. But Papoose said, wait. Because he's pulling out his Win Records chain. She's pulling out her Win Records chain. And Papoose was about to pull out his chain. And then he goes, wait a minute. 2 miles. Tell him about the album. Tell him about the beats. Tell him how we came about it. And then he said like a quick blurb, like, oh yeah, we came together. It's pure hip hop. Boom, boom, boom. I'm happy about it. And then they ended it right there. And she looked at him like, why did you interrupt me about to shine without chains? And for a quick moment there, he was about to hop in and fall in line, and we were all going to show their chains. And then he stopped. He caught himself, and he said, wait. Let's talk about the album. And if you see, in this moment, go back and look at the interview. In this moment, when he interrupted and said, wait, she turned to him and was like, why did you stop me? And then on top of that, he interrupted her several times. It was one particular time when she was like, I'm never second place. I'm not going to be second to no woman. And that's why I'm not second now. And basically trying to lean in on he chose her and she's first place. You saw he was like, okay, Papoose, bars on wheels, blah, 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 and he kind of like went into, deflecting or rerouting the conversation back to something else. That's very telling. She's not reading the room. That's very telling because, and I give him kudos. I give him kudos there for doing that because you got to be a little bit more firm because she's the mother of your child, Papoose. Remy Ma is the mother of your child. And your child, I know kids 7 years old with tablets now. We just don't want her to get to a point and we're going to see potentially her stepmom, trying to come for her mom on the internet. And daddy was okay with it. That's all I'm saying about that. But yeah, let's continue. So that was their whole shining, but several times. And I want to give him a little kudos there one more time for at least trying to cut her off. But I feel like he knows that this is out of control. This train has left the building. He's no longer the conductor of this train. He's just along for the ride. And so is 2 miles, apparently. But they was on her. So then after that, I wanted to get into some things that people were sending me just throughout the week. Funny stuff. I be laughing every day, and some of the stuff I'm going to share it with you all. But apparently, I want to say this is her gym, but guys, keep me honest because I don't know. But somebody was in a gym exercising, and they just kept on hearing this on repeat. So this is what they did.
song right there, Claressa. Yeah.
She said, I know this song ain't saying Claressa Shields.
Bro, 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 you got me fucked up. Bro, I'm not listening to a song that say Claressa Shields. What? This nigga, fam, this nigga got a song that say Claressa. I was sitting over there, I keep saying, why the fuck I keep hearing Claressa Shields? This nigga got Claressa Shields in church music.
That is like soul food music. All my fans don't love that.
So apparently, because if you listen to the headphones, or like these headphones are serious, they're meant for what I do. So I hear everything. And I would go back a bit just to make sure I heard it.
Music.
All right, let me go back.
Claressa Shields. This nigga.
She said she used the AI to make that song.
Claressa Shields in church music.
That is like soul food music. All my fans don't love that.
So you know how you can use AI and make a song. That makes sense because it's like a whole choir back there. So she made a song from AI talking about Claressa Shields, and then she's playing it on repeat while she's in the gym working out. That is, and I get it. You know, trainers, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know, you get your music on, you gotta get in your zone. But that says a lot. That's very narcissistic, wouldn't you say? Like just on repeat in your head, Claressa Shields. Old girl came out, was like, listen, I'm not gonna do this with you all day. We're not listening to this in gospel all day. So as you can see, a lot of people out there has been reacting to and upset and feel gaslit by that Breakfast Club interview. In particular, the way she just took over the interview from Papoose and began to just, tell us about this relationship and tell us, what's going on and who's older. And that's another thing I wanted to say that I just thought about. It was points in the interview and the body language. It lets me know that age-wise, right? Age-wise, listen to me. Age-wise, we would think Papoose is manipulating her. But watching this interview on the Breakfast Club, I would say financially, she's in charge. Like she's manipulating the situation because of her money. Am I making sense? And then I think what's happening as a result of that, it's I'm still figuring out the rest because my spidey senses is tingling, but it's something else. I don't know, money laundering. I don't know.
Claressa, every single time we try to like you, you get up here saying some shit that you don't have to say. Who is talking to you? I don't even know why she here at the interview to talk about Pat and Remy.
Right.
How you gonna speak on the next person's marriage? Like you was with them.
Right.
It takes time.
But I'm gonna tell you why, because so let me tell you, and it just kind of hit me last night. And I don't know, I was watching just random stuff and I was like, I wonder, are we looking at this all wrong? Right? Because we got the expose last year from Remy, and Remy said in 2020 and she had all the dates, all the stuff to prove it. Claressa hit up Remy and was like, oh, I love your clothes, I love your thing, boom, boom, I want fashion advice. Was she already messing with Papoose? Now you ever seen that movie Single White Female? It's A Hand That Rocks the Cradle. It's so many of them. Just pick a Lifetime movie at this point in time. But you've always heard that. You've always seen it. It's really been happening. Investigative discovery, where a man will be cheating on his wife and the mistress will befriend the wife because the man may be trying to pull away. You ever seen something like that? Oh my God, I'm getting stuff from the ether. Have you ever seen anything like that? Where I have. Go pull up Investigative Discovery. Where he might have had a fling with you. You know what I'm saying? It might have been like, okay, fatal attraction. Like, okay, we did a thing. And now she's obsessed. You ain't getting away from me. We go together. And the next thing you know, me and Remy's about to help me style an outfit. How do you feel about that? And then kind of keep him in line. I don't know. All alleged. I'm just having an epiphany real quick. Alleged. But anyway, it hit me saying like, yo, could it have been that? why she hit Remy. Because not necessarily that she wanted to work with Remy or get her clothes, but because she was trying to keep Pap in line because maybe he was trying to pull away. So, either way you look at it, Remy established that timeline that this girl has been in the mix, in their ether, for 5 years, going on 6. That's why she feels like she's inclined to talk about it. Because it's not no year. Like, for example, if it was a year like Megan Good, I'm going to be quiet. This is my man. We're together. I'm supporting him. But I'm just sitting here being the pretty supportive, mate or whatever. But when you like, it's going to take time and we got to do this and she with somebody and trying to go that extra, that's 5 years.
Who is talking to you? Nobody is talking to you. Not only is nobody talking to you, but you're speaking for him.
Right.
You're speaking for him, and then you're not even that. Your answer had nothing to do with what they're talking about. And
right.
This is exactly why it comes back to I don't know why you're talking and putting your 2 cents in a situation that has nothing to do with you and it's not your place to speak whatsoever. You be fucking us up with this.
Give this girl a round of applause because she's speaking for all of us. And she's, her name is like New York something, but her on TikTok. But yes. And I apologize, but I see her all the time because she be going in like on the chopped cheeses, like all things New York. But yes, she hit it spot on with this. And then also, to go back a bit, because it was something about I wanted to go back. Let me go back a bit here.
Nothing to do with you, and it's not your place to speak whatsoever. You be fucking us up with this. Just zip it. That's what we get to talking about how y'all almost been together 2 years. It'll be 2 years in September. September of next year?
Right.
All the way down the line? Like, the September that just passed?
That's where the timelines ain't mathing. Because I'm thinking now what Remy was trying to tell us or show us is that she tried to befriend her because possibly maybe Pap was like, this is a fling. I'm trying to, back away. And then she super inserted herself in the mix. That's the vibe I'm getting. That is a vibe I'm getting. I could be wrong. I don't have no facts on this. It's alleged. But I could see it. Because that's the only way you would speak so, like, involved. Oh, and this is another thing that I remembered. If you watch that Breakfast Club interview, Charlamagne asked her about the Jake Joshua fight. And was like, why do you think this fight is taking place? And she was like, boxing's in a weird space, blah, blah, blah. And she said boxing's a weird place. I don't know why it's taking place. And Charlamagne said, it's taking place because of the money. They each walking away with $91 million after this fight. And Papoose gestured to him like, exactly, it's the money. And she was like, well, if I had my $91 million, why would I be fighting? And Charlamagne gave her a look. Papoose gave her a look. I'm pretty sure Envy and Lorna LaRosa was looking at her too. And then Papoose just started laughing. And he does that a lot when she says some off-the-wall slow people stuff. And I said to myself, she's not financially savvy. Because having money does not make you financially savvy. Like, you ever seen someone win the lottery and then within the next 5 years they're broker than they were the day they won the lottery? Because they're not financially savvy, right? And that is something you have to learn, something that has to be taught maybe or ultimately learned if it's something you want to achieve, right? But her statement, everyone knew ultimately when she said, I don't know why they're having this fight. And Charlamagne says, the money. They're getting $91 million each for this fight. Papoose said, like he gestured to him like, exactly. Like, exactly. You get it, bro. And then she goes, I don't understand, though. Why would you fight if you have $91 million? If I had $91 million, you wouldn't even see me. I'd be gone. And they looked, it got quiet, and then they laughed. Because guess what? The fight is for the $91 million. And then after they get the $91 million from this fight, he may not have to ever fight anyone again if he don't want to. That's the reason for the fight. Does that make any sense? And then I said to myself, that was very telling. And then he just looked at her, and then Papoose started laughing. Go look it up. The section when they asked her about the Anthony Josh Jake Paul fight. And they were like, they're fighting for $91 million. And she was like, But why are you going to be boxing if you have $91 million? It just is not real to her. Like, I think it didn't even click that the dude is literally fighting one fight for $91 million. But let's continue.
What are you talking about? But either way, that's irrelevant. This is what I mean. Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Make it even worse by trying to clock what Remy might or might not have going on. Like, this don't have nothing to do with you. You could easily just sit there and mind your business. Like, God damn.
Glove, because you know I robs the bank, okay? But I do get my hands dirty. But hold on, I didn't wear no heels because I might look too thick. So I said I'm gonna wear the flat little boots with the fur. But I would have came with the heel, that booty would be pop.
So I'm not one to body shame anyone. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a tall girl. So not a lot of people like tall girls. So there you go. But I don't know. The boots in these cat suits are sending me. The Puss in Boots sending me at all times. So it's not just this print or this suit here. It's all of them. The Breakfast Club, she had on the orange one with the rabbit fur and the dog fur on the boots. I don't know what was going on there. It's like the same boot. It was like Shoe Parade or something. I don't know those places. One of those places. It's not giving 8 million. But that's besides the point here and there. The point is this. I remember it might have been a year ago, maybe been more at this point, when Claressa was in a really super cute pocket. I was rooting for her. I was like, oh, look at her. She looks so, like, every time I saw her, she made me smile. My favorite one of her is when she was in the skater. I always talk about it, the blue skater dress, and she's rapping. She has no belly, and the body type that you have to really pull off a skater dress or a skater type of cut skirt and two-piece or whatever. You got to be fit, and you don't really need a big booty, if that makes any sense, because the way the skirt falls is like an A-line skirt, and it's very feminine. But if you have like a big, backyard, it's going to rise and it's going to look lopsided or whatever. But if you got a nice shape and size, it just falls nice on you. You know what I'm saying? I love skater dresses. I got a booty, but I love skater dresses. That doesn't matter here or there, but I'm just saying, I love it. That size she was in her bag is what I'm trying to say. Then I seen a couple of pictures of her floating around when she was exercising, working out with her ex-fiance in her bag. Like the spandex, everything she wear, like she could wear it because it fit her. Like she looks good. And I'm not saying that she's obese or out of shape. I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying that she's focused on the wrong things, like the booty. Is the booty going to help you in the ring in February? Is it going to slow you down in February? Are you going to tone back up before February? But she just focused on that butt.
It's there. It's just not.
And you know what I see happening? If she forfeits these fights or whatever, or if she has a baby and maybe is a little bit more difficult to snap back from the baby, I can see her going to DR or somewhere and getting a BBL, a mommy makeover, and getting a little butt lift too. Because people, it starts there. When they know that their weak area, they emphasize it a lot. And the way she sat down right here lets me know that she wasn't really confident, but she's gonna say what she's gonna say for the camera. But it's the low self-esteem kind of always peaks where it's ugly head. So her low self-esteem always rears its ugly head.
Yeah.
You like Claressa Shields? I like.
Now it's a new day when Ryan Garcia and Krishan Rock are having a conversation about Claressa Shields. Both of them, in their own right, respectively, have been viral in these social media streets, in these internet streets. Ryan Garcia for PEDs, right? Krishan Rock for everything else that you could take against the law. Her son, his erratic behavior at times. Like, these two are interesting to say the least. even sitting here together, I don't know, because Krishan, her dating pool is very wide and vast. I don't know if they're dating. I don't know what the context of this is. It was just sent to me. And said, what do you think about this? So I said, oh, this is great to add in. But Ryan Garcia, you know, he was the one that knocked out Devin Haney, I believe. Ryan Garcia, which to me, I feel like that was kind of because of the whole enhancement situation. So I'm not going to hold that against Devin Haney. But anyway, Ryan Garcia is sitting here having dinner, if you will, with Krishan Rock. And let's hear how their conversation goes. Rather civil between the two of them, too. Very interesting.
You like Claressa Shields? I like her.
Nah, I don't like her at all. Nah, bro, I don't like her at all. No. Yeah, she's man, she's just like a hater on like just people in general.
It's crazy. I was just talking to you about her. I talked to you about her.
Yeah.
She was kind. Oh,
She just be hating on me all the time.
Why? She gotta get to know you.
Yeah, true.
Did you come for her?
Yeah, one time.
That's why.
But she never.
Female.
But she never
You
support me
Ryan
ever.
Garcia. When
Never
you say
support me.
something, it's gonna set you off, yo.
True. Nah, but she's just a hater on a lot of people. I noticed that. Like she's just like a big talker.
You don't think? Oh, so you like the humble rock?
It's not that. I like when you're on your.
So, and I want you to know something. Krishan Rock and Claressa Shields are both birthdays are like 2 days apart, if you will. They're close. And I see a lot of similarities. That's why I also did the Destiny swapping with Krishan Rock and Claressa Shields. Seen a lot of similarities there. As she's talking to him about Claressa Shields, I feel like it's almost like Claressa Shields is getting a lot of heat these days. And depending on what YouTube streets you're in, you know, it'd be like that for Krishan Rock. You know what I'm saying? And she's probably like, thank God, someone else for a change. Right? But also, I wonder, and I don't know, I'm just wondering, if she sees a little bit of herself in Claressa. Because she says she likes her. And then you notice when he said he don't like her at all, her face dropped. And then she said, oh, so do you like the humble rock? You know, the Krishan Rock that goes to church, Yahweh is saved into, you know, being a good Christian woman. Do you like the humble rock? Or do you like the Krishan Rock, which is like Claressa or Clarenzo? You know, wild, fighting, want to cuss you out, short tempered. When he said he didn't like Claressa, she thought she was, you know, gonna get a flex like, oh, if you like Claressa, then you like me because we the same. And he said no, and her face dropped. My opinion. I'm just reacting.
Like a big talker.
You don't think? Oh, so you like the humble rock?
It's not that. I like when you're on your shit. Like,
all right, let's go.
Garcia, when you say something, it's gonna set you off, yo.
True. Nah, but she's just a hater on a lot of people. I noticed that. Like she's just like a big talker.
You don't think? Oh, so you like the humble rock?
It's not that. I like when you're on your
So she was about to be like, you don't think I talk shit? Then she said, oh, so you like the humble rock? And listen to what he said.
shit. Like I don't care about that. It's just like the way she moves. It doesn't come off of like you could tell it's all bad intentions. Like it's scoot. Like you know what I mean. It's not like for the fun of it, the competition, all that.
You like Claressa Shields?
Let me go back one more time to the end piece.
Oh, so you like the humble rock?
It's not that. I like when you're on your shit. Like I don't care about that. It's just like the way she moves. It doesn't come off of like you could tell it's all bad intentions. Like it's scoot. Like you know what I mean. It's not like for the fun of it, the competition, all that.
You like Claressa Shields?
You know, it's an interesting day when someone is having a conversation with Krishan Rock and saying that they don't mind hanging around Krishan, but Claressa has bad intentions. And I'm telling you, because I've watched this girl and I followed her. To be honest with you, I followed her so long that I didn't care about her stats and all her other stuff she had going on, right? When I would see a woman fight, like a woman boxer fight, you can ask my husband, I'd be like, where's Claressa Shields at? Why she ain't fighting? I'd be pissed. And he'd be like, that's not her weight class. Like, I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I used to be. Watched her since, I want to say it was the Netflix documentary, T-Rex, where it showed her hometown, showed her getting ready for the Olympics. And I was like, she do look like T-Rex in the ring. Like the way her fighting style was. Since then, she popped back up when she rebranded herself as the GWOAT. And I'm like, oh, okay, she going, she doing her thing. Like I never looked at her as a darkness over her or seen anything like that. I actually seen a light over her. But like, look at this picture right here. Look at her face right there. Zoom in if y'all got to. That face. Let me see. That face of I want to shine on you. Let me see. That face, because Envy said he wanted Papoose to fix his marriage. It was that Shadeja Green one, because that one sent me. Let me see. Boom. That face. It's a lot of darkness in her facial expressions and emotions. And it's towards women. So that lets me feel like it's a mother issue. It's a mother issue. How old is her mom? 45? How old is her mom? But it's deep. And I think Papoose is starting to realize he's in over his head. So I think, my opinion, I don't know, I feel like he's trying to trudge along and try to keep it professional and trying to, like, I'm going to be your support system because, maybe she lost a lot of people around her when he came around. So he's kind of having to be there. Maybe a lot of people backed away after the whole expose from Remy last year. Like, oh, I'm not supporting you going down this path. Who knows? I don't know. Or maybe to not be the bad guy, he's staying. Because, he's the good guy. But all I know is her energy, her aura is getting darker. It's getting darker. But anyway, I have more to come, guys, because we're going to celebrate more women in boxing. We had a great week in boxing, from hosting to undercard to co-main event. Oh, let me hit you with the... So we're going to bring that back up, and I'm going to react to that. So more to come. And I'm going to leave y'all here with that. The Breakfast Club interview, I didn't like it. Well, no. I liked it because Breakfast Club did their thing in exposing the mess. They didn't ask one hard question in my book, and that was, are you divorced? When are you getting divorced? Why are you not divorced? Any variation of those questions. Any variation of that, I would have accepted. Other than that, I think they did a good job, ruffling feathers, because it shows the lack of emotional intelligence between, the situation here. You can see where it's not a rift between Papoose and Remy at this time, but more so Claressa and Remy, and in my opinion, I feel like they kind of was working on Remy's behalf. They was doing the Lord's work on behalf of Remy. And then another question, I think about it. Do you know that on the Donkey of the Day, in the soundbite, that is Remy Ma? That'd be like, hee ha, is you dumb? And I think that sums up that for me. But anyway, guys, y'all go ahead and join me in the comments and y'all tell me what y'all think. Don't meet me there, beat me there. And I've recoined our whole crew, the talkers, because y'all talking to me, I'm talking to you, and I'm working on it so we can be talking to each other soon, okay? And right now, I'm going to hit you with the motto, and I'm going to hit you with the brand. If you like anything I do, tell a friend. If you like anything, if you don't like anything I do, tell a friend. But from my lips to your ears, I love you, right? But I need you to love me. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. When you see that swipe over to the left, hit that hype button. Turn on your notifications. Join me in the comments and then share it. Tell a friend, and tell a friend. And until next time, it's your girl Gangali and the She Could Talk to podcast. And I'm out. Peace. They talk about it. 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 talk about.